Hello friends, welcome to our book Summary 20 YouTube channel, friends. Today we are going to talk about the book Immediate Action by ThibautMeurisse. Ishan was always a talented engineer. In college, his professors used to appreciate his projects, and he was considered a tech genius among the people. But after getting a job, his life went into a different zone. Deadlines would come near and he would find himself giving excuses. I am not in the mood right now, I will see something. Or friend, I will definitely start from tomorrow. Gradually this became a habit, and he was not able to understand why he started procrastinating so much. It was Monday morning and there was a reminder of an urgent project in his email. The client needed the final report by next week, but Ishan had not even started it properly yet. He opened the laptop, stared at the screen for some time, then got up and went to the kitchen to make coffee. While making coffee, he forgot to do it. He remembered that he had to reply to his old college friend's messages. Then, he read the line behind your procrastination before trying to overcome it. He started thinking if there was really a reason why he was procrastinating so much. He started self-analysis. First of all, he noticed that he found some tasks extremely boring, like documentation and paperwork. He liked calculations, coding, and problem solving. But he was scared of making reports and preparing client presentations. The second reason was even more surprising. He was scared that if he finished his work early and found some mistake, people would judge him. What if my solution is not perfect? He remembered his old experiences when his boss caught small mistakes in his reports. The third reason was his perfectionism. He wanted every work to be done in the best possible way, but because of this, he started feeling pressure even before starting it. If it was not perfect in the first attempt, then this. Fear was stopping him from taking action. He wrote all these points in his diary and thought, now I have to fix these issues. Otherwise, I will remain stuck like this. He called one of his friends, Ishan, who used to work in his industry, but was very disciplined. Brother, do you sometimes feel that your work is interesting, but still, you do not feel like starting it? Ishan laughed. Hey, this happens with everyone. The only difference is that some people understand it and control it, and some people make it a habit. Then how do you handle it? Simply I first make identification. Ishan liked this idea. He thought that if he keeps thinking of doing the entire report preparation in one go, then obviously he got over it and said, let me just draft a paragraph, and that too was done. His fear started to subside gradually. He understood that the most difficult part is to start the work. Once you start, the momentum will automatically bring you under control. His journey had just begun. Ishan had now understood that his procrastination was not just laziness, but it was the clutter in his mind that was stopping him from moving forward. But even now he was not able to completely get out of that pattern. Sometimes the same old habits would take hold. He would sit down to work, but in between a new thought would come, and he would get distracted to other things. Now, one more thing was becoming clear to him. Managing only external things would not do anything. He would have to clear the clutter in his mind too. One evening, when he was sitting at his desk, he noticed how much physical clutter was lying around him. Old bills, half-written notes of last year's conference, brochures, some random papers, everything was scattered around. He remembered that he had once read somewhere that external clutter increases mental clutter. He decided that the first thing he would do was to clean his workspace. He picked up a big empty box and started putting everything in it that he did not find important. Some things were important to keep, but they did not have a proper place. He thought that this was happening in his whole life too. There were some important thoughts, but they were scattered here and there, which was ruining his clarity. When his desk was clean, he felt a strange sense of clutter. His mind was also filled with a lot of unfinished things, some tasks that he had started but never completed, some decisions that he had postponed, and some goals that he had never taken action on. He took out his diary and started writing down all the tasks that he had completed. I never completed it. The list kept getting longer. I had plans to reply to some old emails. I had plans to call some friends, which never happened. a programming course which he had joined but left halfway, some personal goals which he had thought about but never done anything about. When he saw the whole list, he felt as if all this was going on in his mind like a background noise all the time, which he was never noticing properly. All these incomplete things were mentally exhausting him, and he himself was not able to understand why his mind felt so heavy. He decided that now he will complete all these pending tasks one by one. First of all, he sent those emails which he had to send months ago. Then he called those 2 friends, with whom he had not been able to talk for a long time. Every time he completed a small incomplete task, he felt some relief in his mind. Then he looked at his old course, which he had left halfway. He remembered that when he had started that course, he was so excited when he did it. But in between, some more urgent work came up and he postponed it. He thought that if he did not want to complete it, he should drop it from office so that it does not remain like an open loop in his mind. He went to the course dashboard and thought that at least he will complete one module. And he started it. He himself could not believe that the work which he was postponing for months, it was just a matter of starting it. Gradually he felt that his mind was becoming clearer than before. Now when he worked on his actual goals, he felt more focused. The overwhelm he used to feel earlier started reducing. Now when he worked on his report, random thoughts did not come to his mind that he should do some other old work first. One day he opened his diary and noticed that now there was more space left in it. For his old pending tasks, most of the items in the list were now completed. For the first time he felt like he was taking back control of his life. A few weeks later, when he was starting a new project on his laptop, he could not realize that without distraction things will keep going on. Until then, he will not be able to do any new work with full energy. Now his journey was complete. He had come out of procrastination. Ishan now felt that he has overcome his habit of procrastination to a great extent. But sometimes when a big and important task came up, he would again go back to the same old habits, sit down to work, then start watching a random video or just get entangled in random things. He could not understand why this was happening, even though he had made himself so disciplined. Till now he felt that procrastination was just a bad habit. It is a habit. But gradually he realized that it was something deeper than that. One day he questioned himself, do I really want to avoid this work, or is there some other reason behind it? He noticed that whenever a new challenge came, a subtle fear arose in his mind. Will I be able to do it properly? When he analyzed his past habits, he realized that a big reason for his procrastination was self-doubt. He always felt that, whatever he did, it would not be as good as it should be. He remembered his college days when he used to participate in coding competitions. Once he tried to solve a very complex problem, but at the last moment there was an error in his coding, and he gave up. Since that day, every time he used to stop hesitating before starting any difficult task, he realized that procrastination was not just a time management issue, but a deep-rooted fear inside his mind. He was not just avoiding boring or difficult tasks, but he was avoiding situations where he had to prove his capabilities. Somewhere he became so conscious about failure that he stopped taking risks. Now when he understood what was the root of his procrastination, he decided to judge it correctly. First of all, he accepted that it is not necessary to give perfect results every time. If a task is not done properly, it does not mean that he did not try his best. He reminded himself that failure is also a part of learning. Now whenever he felt resistance in starting a difficult task, he would ask himself a simple question. Do I genuinely not want to do this work, or am I just not able to do it? I am afraid of this. If the answer was that he was afraid, then he would deliberately put himself in that discomfort. He realized that every time he faced a fear, it gradually started to diminish. One day, a new project came in his company, in which he had to work on a completely new technology. As a first instinct, he thought that he will start this work after some time, but then he asked himself, am I putting it off because I find it boring, or because I am afraid that I will not be able to do it properly? The answer was clear. He was afraid that he will not be able to do it well. This time he changed his strategy. he told himself that he will do this work for only 10 minutes. Without thinking what will be its outcome, he opened the project, started reading the documentation, and wrote some basic steps of coding. He felt that it was not as difficult as he had thought. Gradually, he became so engrossed in that work that hours passed, and he did not even realize. Now he was understanding that the real problem was not the work itself, but his mind, which was already filled with fear. Now he had completely changed his old mindset. He knew that it is impossible to get a baby, impossible to get rid of procrastination completely, but now he had learned to deal with it. Whenever he found a new task intimidating, he would give himself a simple reminder that just start and the rest of the things will fall into place on their own. Now, instead of protecting himself from failures and mistakes, he had started preparing himself to learn from them. One day, when he opened his diary, he noticed that all the unfinished tasks in his old to-do lists were now completed. His mind was clearer than ever before, and he had started trusting his abilities. He realized that real life comes when we understand our problems, not just on the surface level, but by going to their root. Now he was not the same as before. When Ishan looked at his old habits, he realized that the real reason for his procrastination was not just fear or laziness, but there was another thing that was repeatedly pulling him back: confusion. He often did not understand what he had to do. He had many tasks in front of him, but he could not decide where to start, what to focus on more, and what was really important. Sometimes he kept thinking of doing something the whole day, but in the end, he could not do anything. By now, he had understood many reasons for procrastination, but now he had to clear his direction. He started analyzing his daily routine. He was noticing that whenever he had to do a big task, he first looked for distractions. Sometimes he sat down to check emails, sometimes he started scrolling social media, and sometimes he started Googling random things without any reason. But when he paid attention to his behavior, he saw a pattern. Whenever he did not know it, he used to do it. When he asked himself what exactly he had to do, his mind naturally started running towards those things which were easy. This was his biggest problem: lack of clarity. One day, he picked up his notebook and wrote, "When do I get most confused?" When he started searching for the answer to this question, he started seeing some things clearly. First, when a task was very big or heavy, he did not know where to start. Second, when many small tasks accumulated, he became overwhelmed and did nothing. Third, when he did not have a clear priority, his mind started giving equal importance to every task, and then he could not do anything. Now he understood that if he wanted to improve his productivity and focus, he would have to make his goals and tasks crystal clear. First of all, he decided to break his big and heavy tasks into parts. First, when he used to think, "I have to work on this project," it used to sound very generic, and his mind naturally used to postpone it. But now he broke it down. "Today I have to complete the research part of this project. Tomorrow, I have to write its first draft, and the day after tomorrow, I have to refine it." In this way, when he divided his goals into small actionable steps, it became very easy to start them. The second thing he did was to set priorities. Earlier, he used to pick up any random task, and then in between his attention would get diverted to some other work. But now he started taking out 5 minutes every morning to just think about what his top 3 priorities are. This simple change started changing his productivity completely. Now whenever he used to work, he knew what to focus on first. This made his mind clear, and he started feeling more confident. Another thing he adopted was mental clutter clean. He observed that there were many things running through his mind all the time. Sometimes he remembered that he had to call a friend. Sometimes he was worried about replying to an old email. Sometimes a random idea came to his mind that he did not want to forget. Earlier, he used to keep these things only in his mind, but now he adopted a simple technique of writing down every small or big thought in one place. He started keeping a notepad in which he would note down every random thought that came throughout the day. This freed his mind, and whenever he focused on a task, he would not worry about the other things running in the background. Gradually, he made clarity his daily habit. Now whenever he got a new task, he would first think about how to divide it into the smallest steps. If any task seemed unclear, he would first get complete information about it, and then start. He now realized that whenever there was confusion in his mind, his natural response was procrastination. But when he cleared his tasks and goals, this habit of his started decreasing on its own. After a few weeks, he noticed that now his life seemed more sorted than before. The list of pending tasks had become shorter, his daily goals were clear, and most importantly, he did not have resistance in starting work anymore. He remembered the days when he used to postpone every task, and now he started working on his most important task every morning without any hesitation. One day when he picked up his old notebook, he saw the pages in which he had written his struggles: procrastination, self-doubt, burden, lack of clarity. He realized how far he had come. Now he was confident about his goals. His mind was clutter-free, and most importantly, he had faith in himself. He closed the notebook, took a deep breath, and smiled. His journey was now complete. Ishan now understood that having clarity does not make the work easy, but to complete it, deep focus is also required. Many times it used to happen that he would start the work, but after some time his attention would get diverted. Sometimes he would get a notification on his phone. Sometimes he would see a new email. Sometimes he would suddenly think of doing some other work. He would think of just looking at something else for 5 minutes. But then those 5 minutes would turn into half an hour, and his momentum would break. He realized that if he wanted to take his productivity to the next level, he would have to develop laser-sharp focus. He first thought of controlling distractions. He noticed that his biggest distraction was his phone. Whenever he got stuck in some work, his mind would naturally go towards the phone. As soon as he checked the notifications, he would keep it aside while doing some other work. He also installed some productivity apps which helped him to stay focused. After this, he paid attention to his work environment. He noticed that there were a lot of things on his desk which used to distract him. Some old files, books, random sticky notes, and many more. He started keeping his workspace clean. He made his workspace clean and minimalistic. He kept only those things which were essential for his work. He noticed that when his workspace was clutter-free, his mind also felt more focused. Apart from this, he adopted a new technique: deep work sessions. Earlier he used to try multitasking. But now he learned that instead of increasing productivity, multitasking makes him more scattered. Now he started using the Pomodoro technique. He would work with full concentration for 25 minutes, then take a small break of 5 minutes. These small focus sessions started increasing his efficiency. Gradually, he started increasing the duration of these sessions, and now he could work for 90 minutes without any distraction. One day he noticed that his mind gets distracted very quickly when he has to do a difficult task. He understood that the reason for this was not only external distractions, but there was something inside him too. He had mental habits which prevented him from focusing. As soon as he faced a difficult or boring task, his mind automatically started looking for an excuse to get away from that task. He thought that whenever he got distracted, he would ask himself a question: is this really necessary right now? If the answer was no, he would immediately ignore the distraction and get back to work. Now whenever he worked, he started training his mind consciously to stay in deep focus. He adopted an interesting technique. Every time he got distracted, he would pause and take a deep breath and get back to work. This simple technique improved his attention span a lot. He also noticed that when he worked with full focus, his output was also better than before. Gradually, his concentration became so strong that he could now do deep work for hours without any extra force. First he had to find the motivation to work. But now the work itself was pulling him. He was able to distract himself satisfactorily. His mind seemed sharper and more disciplined than before. He had now eliminated the last root of his procrastination: lack of focus. Ishan had understood by now that procrastination is not just due to laziness or distractions, but there are deep psychological reasons behind it too. When he looked at his past habits, he realized that his biggest obstacle was his fears. He often procrastinated because he was scared deep inside that what would happen if he did something and it went wrong? What if he proposed something new to someone and people rejected him? What if he took up a big project and it failed? What was the use of his hard work? These questions had prevented him from taking action many times. He now had to identify these fears and get rid of them. He had put a lot of effort into his work. He took out his old diary and wrote down all the tasks that he had postponed. Then he wrote the reason in front of each task, what excuse he had given for postponing it. At some places he had written that something might go wrong. At some places he had written what will people say, and at some places he had written, I don't feel like doing it right now. But when he paid attention, he saw that in most of the places there was a common theme: fear that he would not be able to do well, fear that people would judge him, fear that he would work hard, but it would be of no use. He understood that if he wanted to completely end his procrastination, he would have to face his fear. He first started addressing his biggest fear, the fear of failure. He remembered how nervous he was when he gave his first presentation in college. He felt that if he made even one mistake, everyone would make fun of him. But when the presentation was over, he realized that people did not pay as much attention as he thought. Some of his mistakes were not remembered by anyone, but despite this, the fear was still with him. He adopted a new method. Every time he felt the fear of failure, he would ask himself a question: if this work fails, can I learn from it? And the answer was always yes. He realized that every failure teaches something, and as long as he is learning, he is moving forward. After this, he tackled the fear of criticism. He often used to think, what will happen if he started something new and people will not like it? What if someone rejected his hard work? But then he noticed that all the successful people, they too have to face criticism. There is no one who is liked by everyone. He adopted a new mindset. People's opinion is not in my control, but my hard work is in my control. He stopped thinking what people will say and just focused on his work. He started focusing on his work. Gradually, he noticed that when he worked by ignoring his fear, he felt more confident than before. Earlier, he used to hesitate in doing any work. But now, he started challenging himself. One day, he put forward a bold idea in front of his team. Earlier, he used to think about it but could not gather courage to say it. He thought that people would reject him, but to his surprise, his words were taken seriously and work started on his idea. Then he realized that his fear was only in his mind. In reality, things were not that bad. Now he made a new habit. Every time he felt like postponing something, he would pause and ask himself whether he was postponing it just because of fear. If the answer was yes, he would take action without thinking much. He understood that the best way to reduce fear is to take action. The more he goes against his fear, the weaker he becomes. After a few months, he realized that the biggest reason for his procrastination was over. He was no longer hesitant to start work. He was no longer afraid to implement a new idea. And most importantly, he was no longer worried about failure or criticism. He had become more confident and fearless than ever before. He had overcome his last big hurdle, and now there was nothing in his way that could stop him. Ishan had now overcome his fear, but he felt another challenge: the lack of consistency. He had often felt that when his mood was right, he worked very well, but as soon as any external distraction came or his energy was low, his momentum would break. He understood that if he wanted to keep his progress steady, he would have to make a daily routine, which would help him achieve his goals. Support? He decided to change his day from the beginning. Earlier, his mornings were quite random. Sometimes he would wake up late, sometimes early, sometimes he would have breakfast, sometimes he would have breakfast. Sometimes he would skip it. This made his whole day unpredictable. Now he decided that he would wake up at the same time every day. And he will start his day with a clear structure. He created a simple morning routine. After waking up, he did some stretching first, then 10 minutes of meditation, and after that, he wrote his top 3 goals of the day in a journal. This gave him clarity every morning about what he had to do throughout the day. Then he paid attention to his way of working. Earlier, he used to work without any fixed schedule, due to which sometimes the workload became too much and sometimes too less. Now he adopted the time-blocking technique and fixed a fixed time slot for every task. He noticed that when he knew when to do which work, he was able to work with more discipline. He kept his most challenging tasks in the morning, when his energy was the highest, and shifted meetings or emails to the second part of the day. He also noticed that despite a structured day, motivation was not the same every day. Sometimes he felt like giving up everything, leaving some things aside, just rest. But now he adopted a new approach: do not rely on motivation, build discipline. He saw that when he used to follow his routine without thinking, then gradually his mind got used to that schedule, and he did not need any extra motivation to work. Now he had become habit-driven, not mood-driven. In the evening, he also made a wind-down routine. Earlier, he used to do anything till random late night, sometimes social media, sometimes TV, sometimes a movie, but now he decided that he will keep 1 hour screen-free time before sleeping. He would either read a good book or plan for the next day. This made his sleep better and his energy for the next day also remained high. Gradually, his daily routine became so natural that now he did not have to make conscious effort. He realized that a strong routine is the only thing that can help you in getting rid of your problems. His productive activity and focus were maintained. Now he was able to make consistent progress without thinking, and there was no chance of procrastination. He now had that discipline which is necessary to achieve any big goal. Ishan had understood almost every aspect of his procrastination by now, and was also working on them. He had learned to deal with fear, had made a daily routine, but he felt that sometimes a strange confusion remained inside him. It seemed as if a lot of things were going on in his mind all the time. Pending tasks, future goals, small tasks that were left in the middle. He started feeling that until his mind is not clear, he will not be able to focus completely. He picked up his diary and started making a list of all the things that were left incomplete: old projects, incomplete study books, pending emails, even small personal. When he finished the list, he realized how much clutter was there in his mind. Due to this mental clutter, he always felt overwhelmed and sometimes tired for no reason. Now he adopted a simple strategy. Finish one thing at a time. He started completing small pending tasks first, cleared old emails, replied to read messages, organized his work desk, and even started reading books that he had left untouched for years. Every time he finished an unfinished task, he got a strange satisfaction. Slowly, he started working on his bigger tasks as well. He revisited all his goals and tried to bring clarity to them. Earlier, he used to think only about what he had to do next, but now he started defining his priorities. He divided each goal into smaller tasks. He made a proper action plan by breaking it down into steps. Now he knew every day what he had to do, and his decision-making had become sharper than before. One day, he noticed that his procrastination was almost over. Now, he did not make excuses to himself and did not procrastinate. And most importantly, he felt clarity in everything. A new confidence had come inside him. He understood that productivity is not just about doing more work, but about focusing on the right things and keeping a clear mindset. Now, when he looked at his life, he felt that he had come a long way. There was a time when he used to procrastinate, doubt himself, and give in to his fears. But now he controlled his every action. He realized that real change does not come from outside, but from inside. When a person solves the confusions in his mind, then he gets better from outside. The world starts to look easy automatically. Ishan now knew that no matter what challenge comes in the future, he can handle it without getting stuck in procrastination. He had not only changed his habits, but also transformed himself completely. His journey did not end here. Rather, his real growth had started now. So friends, this was our book summary today. How did you like it? Do let us know by commenting, and you can also subscribe to our Book Summary 20 YouTube channel. See you in the next book summary. Till then, thank you.